Welcome to the Recess Life Podcast. This is the place where we explore play and what it means to get back to your inner child. I'm Louise, your host. Join me as I chat with teachers, entrepreneurs, artists, and thought leaders about how we can live a life of more play and impact. Let's get it started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 4 of the Recess Life Podcast. I am currently recording this from my parents' new home in Northern California. If you are watching this interview on YouTube, you'll see that behind me is a big moving blanket and there are pillows all around me to try and dampen the sound in this room that I'm in. It's still fairly empty. And all around the house, there are boxes and it's all sorts of dishevelment as we are getting them settled in here. So about a month and a half ago, my sister and I helped pack up our childhood home in Colorado and drove them out here to Northern California to move about 90 minutes, 2 hours away from us. And they recently found their new home, and that's what we've been doing, is just moving them in, getting them settled in. Some of you know that I had an appendicitis a few weeks ago, so I'm not quite at full capacity to be able to move things around and lift, but I've been doing the organizing and helping them with technical and administrative tasks. My sister luckily was able to help them with the heavy lifting, so Helen, thank you very much for doing that part. Between all of the organizing, running errands, helping them with the administrative technical tasks, if you are a child of Asian immigrant parents, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's always a technical task on their to-do list that they are waiting for you to do. And with them moving in, there's obviously a lot more of those. There's a little bit of adjusting in this new neighborhood. This neighborhood has folks about the same age as them. So there's different rules and parameters that they have to abide by, which is going to take some getting used to. My father is not known to follow rules, we'll say. He's sort of that guy that likes to do things on his own terms, which in some ways I can appreciate because I very much have those qualities. But it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period more for him than my mother. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a great neighborhood for them. It's been really interesting to observe myself while I've been up here with my parents. It's such a new environment for us. Everything is new in terms of the setting, in terms of the items that we have to get done on our to-do list. And I've been really curious about the dynamic between us as well as with myself when we knew that we were going to spend these next few days helping them get set up. I very much got into this mentality of, okay, when I'm up here, it's going to be very task-oriented, very much about getting XYZ done, getting this accomplished so that we can just tie it up with a bow and we can get to normal life as soon as possible. So I can get back to my normal life as soon as possible and they can begin their new lives as soon as possible. So for the past few days, I've been very diligent about having a to-do list every day, having them write down and tell me, what do we need to get done? What is priority? What do you need my help with? And being very focused in that regard. If I'm going to be giving up my normal routine for these few days, we better make it worth it. So we better get everything done on the list so that I can feel satisfied. So you can imagine some of my frustration when my parents want to take some of the tasks a little slower and they may want to take longer to make decisions like on what furniture to buy or what errands we need to run. Or there have been moments where they've just wanted to relax in this new house because they've just moved in. And it's been very challenging for me to just be okay with that because Number one, this is their house and I'm here for them. And whatever it is that they need, I have to be tuned into that. If that means they need to rest, or it means that they need to browse a few more furniture items before they make a decision, if they want to sit and just be present with each other and with me and watch Wheel of Fortune, that's something that I can work on. It's so hard to get out of that mentality that we always have to be productive. And if time is not spent maximizing every moment, then it was a waste. My whole life, I've lived with this mentality that leisure or play or taking things slow is a waste of time. Or that time spent on doing frivolous things is not time worth spending. Even with all of my beliefs around play and taking time to play, it's super hard to get out of this mentality. I really struggle to not maximize every moment that I have and to not check off every item on my to-do list so that I can be completely satisfied at the end of the day. So what I've been doing is taking time every day to ask my parents what it is that they need, and also writing down my own priorities for the day. And if they don't have anything for me, I can take a little more time with my tasks, or just be more present with them and have a little bit of a longer lunch and watch that TV show with them at night. I think what play teaches us is to be in the moment and to be okay if things don't always go according to plan or it doesn't happen exactly how you envision it. I wanted to spend this time having the house set up exactly perfectly so that I know I maximized every single moment I have. And I have to let that idea go because one, that's not reality. And two, that's just being attached to my own version of what I think should happen. And my version is not the only version. I can choose not to place all the value on my own to-do list. Rather, I can place value on being present and letting things unfold naturally. It will also be a lot more fun if I just let go a little bit. I want to look back on this time as time that I was really present with them and that I spent it in the way that they needed from me. And I think play teaches us that a lot. There's this idea that time is not well spent unless it's spent producing something or having some sort of outcome. And play turns that on its head. Play doesn't give us an outcome all the time. It doesn't have a purpose to it other than to enjoy life and to give us joy. A mindset of play goes against everything that I'm trying to do up here with my parents. So I am definitely being put to the test, and these are things that I'm never going to stop learning about. So here is to new transitions and learning how to find the play, the joy, the flow within it all. My guest on today's episode knows a thing or two about transitions himself. I'm super excited to be bringing you this episode. If you were alive in 2004, you probably remember this guy. There was a little known show called American Idol. It was the biggest show amongst all my friends and people I knew. And it was the first season. It had just come on the scene and had become the biggest reality show in all of the country. A little someone named William Hung auditioned on the show. And as you all know, if you saw American Idol, he became an overnight sensation for his audition of She Bangs by Ricky Martin. He became a household name overnight. I remember seeing his audition on TV and then hearing about him everywhere after that. And he went on to have quite the entertainment career, if any of you followed him after that. He lived quite the life, performing all over the world, had a #1 record, and was just living the life. And then he dropped off the radar for a little bit. And now it's 2020 and he is putting himself out there back in the public spotlight. I was always struck by what a positive person William is. He did not have a great review of his audition on American Idol, unfortunately, and the judges weren't the nicest, Simon in particular, but William had such a great attitude about it. And when he went on to go have his career afterwards, he kept such a positive outlook on everything because just like the judges on American Idol, he wasn't always met with the nicest criticism from the public and from media. And I just had to ask him, how did he persevere through all of that? How did he keep such a positive / playful mindset around that attention? We can definitely learn something from William, who was thrust into the public spotlight like that. I know I probably wouldn't have handled the attention as well as he has. Since William's entertainment career, he's gone through quite a few transitions. He went and got a normal desk job for a while, and now he's getting back out into the spotlight to follow his heart. We talked about how he keeps a positive outlook on his life when he doesn't necessarily always have the most positive feedback that comes back towards him. We talked about how he got the guts to audition for American Idol in the first place. There are people that I know that have been singing for years and have trained super hard, and they're too afraid to try out for American Idol. How did William find the gusto to go for it? He shared honestly about his process of what it's like to go through this transition into putting himself back out there in the public spotlight. I love that he was super transparent about where he's at in this process and that he's just going to keep going until he finds the right thing for himself. He's very much in the thick of figuring out what this transition looks like, and it was such an encouragement to me because I'm in quite a few transition periods myself right now. I had a very busy career that I was doing prior to the pandemic, and I've taken a step back to figure out what my next step looks like. And I'm thinking about whether what I was really doing is really what I want to continue moving forward with. Listening to this conversation again really gave me permission to be okay to be in this ambiguous, uncertain period in my life right now. If William Hung can do it, I certainly can, and so can you. How lucky we are that we even get the opportunity to have these transition periods. I know I'm discovering a lot about myself during this uncertain period, and these are things that I wouldn't have learned if I was in my comfortable routine that I was living in for quite a few years. It took me getting forced out of my routine to really step back and look at the bigger picture of my life. So if you're in a messy transition right now, I hope this episode gives you hope and encouragement to keep going. So without further ado, here is William Hung, aka She Bangs Guy. Enjoy.
Well, I am so excited, William, to be speaking with you today about your life and to have you on the Recess Life podcast. This is the third time we've had a conversation, and it's going to be the charm. I just know it. It's going to be the one that we share with the world.
Yes.
So anyone that is probably tuning into this episode probably knows you already, but in case they are of a different generation, we're going to go into your backstory, which you are for what you are most well known for. And that would be the American Idol audition that is, I mean, when I was growing up was just, I remember it so vividly. So
yes.
Give us a quick synopsis of what that experience was and what I am referring to.
Oh, of course. I auditioned for American Idol back in 2004 with my own rendition of Ricky Martin's She Bangs. And I didn't know what to expect, but Simon said, thank you. You can't sing, you can't dance, so what do you want me to say? And I said, I already gave my best. I have no regrets at all. Paula said, good for you. That's the best attitude yet. I said, I had no professional training. And then Simon said, no, that's the surprise of the century.
That was super brave of you to go and walk in front of those three judges. What had enticed you to audition in the first place? Like, how did you hear about it, and how did you decide that you wanted to audition?
Well, I was studying for civil engineering at UC Berkeley, but I wasn't enjoying myself. So I wanted to try something new. So one day I saw this poster for a school talent show, and I thought, why not? There's nothing to lose. So I started watching and studying music video from Ricky Martin's She Bangs. And little did I know, I won the talent show. I actually won a DVD player. So that's what gave me the confidence to audition for American Idol.
But you had never really sang before. This was nothing that you had done regularly before, right?
I actually sang karaoke with my parents since I was 10 years old. But I never thought I would try out for such a big show at a time.
Because I guess like anyone I know would be very scared and hesitant and would overthink whether or not to audition. But for you, was there and people that have been singing their whole lives would be really nervous and scared. But sounds like you just went for it. Where did you get that gusto from?
It's not, I don't know if it's gusto. It's more like I didn't care if I lose on the audition, because my mindset was that there's hundreds of thousands of people auditioning every year. Very few people made it anyway. And there's only one American Idol each year. In a way, everybody had to lose at some point. So why do I feel so bad about losing? Yeah.
That's a really different perspective. That's a really different, amazing perspective to look at it instead.
Yeah.
Because I think so many people could look at it the other way and be so afraid of losing. If you don't audition at all, you're definitely going to lose. Why not just give it a shot?
Yeah, and I think it's the same thing right now in your life. Whatever it is you want to try, why not try now?
Yeah. What do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Were you embarrassed or anything when Simon and Randy gave you that feedback during your audition?
Well, I was disappointed because what people might not know is that I had to go through multiple rounds to see Randy, Paula, and Simon. It wasn't easy. So I went through multiple days. I missed like multiple days of school. So it was a bit disappointing to find out that I would not be making it to Hollywood. But it's okay because I already made it that far. So that's what my thought process was, and that's why I was able to maintain that positive attitude.
But that wasn't the end of the story, because
Nope.
It wasn't that your story didn't end after the audition. What happened afterwards?
Well, 4 months later, Fox broadcasted my audition. And then suddenly I got like emails for Entertainment Tonight, Ryan Seacrest show. I saw like the internet, there were like critics talking about how I portray like Asian stereotypes. One of the news anchor, John Beard, said William Hung is the worst singer ever. And then the next day when I went back to class, after one of my classes, I had fans. They stopped me for pictures and autographs. It's like, I don't know what to make of all of this.
How did you deal with all of that attention, especially since some of it wasn't totally positive?
Well, I would say that the good news for me was the people I had close contact with, like in person. They were positive, you know. But of course, the internet and the media were not the most positive. So the way I deal with it is just, I cannot please everybody. I told myself that my mission for entertainment is to bring happiness to other people. That's it, right? So I stopped worrying about like whether everybody will like it. I focus on just enjoying myself on stage and enjoying my time with the fans, because like the what I had to adapt in terms of my mindset right away is that if they don't like me, then they're not my target audience anyway. So yeah, that's all. That's really all I could do. And in terms of like criticism, like I mean, I'm not someone to say like I don't care what other people think. I mean, that's not I'm not like that at all. I do care. I'm human, okay? but at the same time, I cannot just let everybody get to me, because otherwise I'm gonna just want to hide in the dirt. I wouldn't want to get up. I wouldn't want to show myself to the society. And so I feel like I had to take the high road.
You focused on your true fans, and not on the ones that were criticizing you or making funny statements about you, because why do those people matter? Right? Why put your energy towards those people?
Yeah.
And that's a really tough mindset, I think, for a lot of us to get around, because we could have 10,000 pieces of positive feedback, but then really easily focus on the 2 people that criticize you or say something negative. And it's a practice. And that's something I think that a lot of people maybe learn over time, but sounds like you were able to shift your perspective pretty quickly, because this happened all at once. I can't imagine dealing with that so quickly.
It's more like I had to stand up for myself. And I would say the turning point was when someone decided to write an article how I committed suicide due to heroin overdose.
Oh wow! When was that?
It's still online. It's like back in 2004. I mean, I knew it was more. They were just trying to make fun of my story or make fun of me or whatever it was. But that kind of story bothered me. Because I don't like seeing those kinds of stories, even though they are just for fun. Even because I guess it's not true, No, so that's why I feel the urge to stand up for myself. I feel compelled to be the author of my own story.
Yeah, you write the story, you own the story, no one else. How long was your entertainment career after American Idol, and what did that look like? Because you did a lot of appearances and you had quite the journey with entertainment after American Idol.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that my first 4 years were my best years for my entertainment business. I was traveling and performing all over the world. My first album, Inspiration, was the #1 independent album on Billboards. So I was living a dream life. But I knew that the dream life wouldn't last forever. So after the 4 years, my business started slowing down. And I thought it was time to maybe go back to school, get a job. And then I worked for the government for 8 years, 2 years for the sheriff's department and 6 years for the public health department. And during that time, I realized maybe I could settle. I could just say that this is it. I don't need to do anything else. But I feel like I'm missing something in my life. I feel like I'm missing that maximum potential. There's so much more I could do. So that's why, maybe 3 years ago, I got back into speaking, professional speaking. Really put myself out there again, with the interviews, with the media, whatever it is. I feel like I need to put myself out there again. And then, maybe last year, I finally decided that maybe it's time for me to do whatever it takes to quit my job and start on a new journey. And what motivated me to do that was because I had this burning question in my mind. It's like, if I'm going to work really hard, why am I working so hard chasing somebody else's dream instead of my own?
What was that process like of putting yourself out there again? Because like you said, you worked in entertainment for 4 years after American Idol, went to go work for the sheriff's office in a more traditional job.
Yes.
And that was for a good amount of time. You went to this conventional job, but then to start to think about stepping outside of that again and going down a path for yourself. Yes. It's different the second time around. I'm sure you weren't coming off of a big appearance like American Idol again, right? You didn't have something behind you again to put yourself out there. What was that process like of getting back out into the world as William Hung?
Well, it's fair or not. People do know me from American Idol to this day. There really is no way around that. And I'm grateful for it. because without my she bangs guy identity, I wouldn't get the opportunities I'm getting now. So it's so I in many ways, even I need to weigh the positive. It's gonna be like way better than the negatives, right? Like some people, of course, there's gonna be some people that thinks like I'm a joke. I'm just this donk, nerd, whatever. But the opportunities I've gotten because of it, I will never forget it. And it's not like after 4 years, I suddenly like stopped performing. I stopped speaking. That's not what it is. It's more like I just didn't didn't do as much because I took on a full-time job. And then I realized, well, maybe I can do more. Because it's something that I truly enjoy. So the difference between back then and now, because it's like back then, like back in 2004, I was just a 20-year-old college kid, no idea what he wanted in his life. But now it's like, okay, I'm doing it because I want to.
You know yourself so much more now.
Yeah.
15 years later, is that right? Oh man.
Yeah, 16. Yeah.
16 years. That's nuts. How time flies. It's just such an example of how life can take many different chapters and turns. And just because you had one major chapter in your life, it doesn't mean that it's over, or doesn't mean that there isn't something else around the corner. Yeah, you definitely have decided that you wanted more chapters and that you wanted to continue your story. That's what you're doing now.
Yeah.
At this moment, so you've quit your job now, and you're on your own. What are you working on?
Well, multiple things. So in terms of like how I got to the point of quitting my job, like last year, like because of the management changes, the work changes, I don't feel the same about my job. I feel like I'm not passionate about my job. So that's how I know that I need to do something different. And what I did was I started watching and studying poker. So I would play poker on the side, like treat it like a business. I would play like 20, 30 hours a week outside of my job. And the idea is that I want to prove to myself that I could do it. I could make way more than my day job. And I did. And that's what gave me the confidence to quit my day job in January. And I thought that life would be fantastic because I would have my income from poker. I would have my income from my book, from speaking, multiple sources, from saving and investing. I thought life would be fantastic, wonderful. But of course, who could have predicted that COVID-19 hit everywhere around the world? So yeah, like all the live casinos are closed. And I did try to put my hand into online poker, but I just wasn't enjoying it. It wasn't the same thing. Yes, I could still make money doing it, but it's not. It doesn't feel the same. It feels like I had to play like a robot. So that's why I'm exploring like other ventures again. So I'm doing like more virtual speaking. Oh, another new thing that I got into is called like personal shout outs. So I would do like personal birthday messages, sing a quick song on apps like Cameo. So yeah, so that's what I do now. And then I just started live streaming on a new platform called Livit, Livit. So like. I'm not saying that the listeners or you should pursue these same paths. Okay, but the reason I'm pointing this out is because these are things that I could not have predicted myself. It's more like it just happened naturally. Like people told me, "Oh, give this a try," and then I try it, and then they are working out better for me than I thought.
Yeah, you're just following your curiosity and experimenting with different things.
Yeah, right.
And seeing what works.
Yeah.
Has there been anything that hasn't worked that you've learned from?
Oh, of course. Like I mentioned, one of the biggest things about the online poker is that it's not because I couldn't make money playing the game, but it was because it didn't align with my overall long-term mission. Because my spiritual mission, what keeps me excited to wake up every day, is that I want to help people try something new without being judged or ridiculed. that's my DNA. That's who I am, right? And just spending all my time in poker doesn't accomplish that.
Let's focus on that a little bit, your mission around that. What does that mean when you say help people try things without being ridiculed? Ridiculed for them to ridicule themselves or to be resilient for other people's ridicule? Talk more about that.
Yeah. So like what I see myself creating, Louis, in the next 3, 5, 10 years is that I want to create a platform where people can try out different careers and businesses. Could be like teacher, musician, entertainer, gamer, and they could find out whether this is something that they want to pursue in a very short amount of time, maybe a few weeks or a month, more like a simulation class, And the reason I want to create a platform like that is because I wish I don't have to spend so much time, money, and energy exploring things that I don't want to do.
Yeah, I always felt like it would be so great if we could all, it's so hard the way our society works for how careers happen, right?
Yes.
It's like you spend all your schooling studying for this potential career path that you want to go for.
Yes.
And then you spend all this time, all this money, and then you go into the career path and you learn that you don't want it.
Yeah.
Or that it's not the right thing. And
right.
But there's no way to know that until you've actually experimented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until you've actually gone into it and had actual real information. And it's challenging because it really limits our ability to experiment, to try things, to change path.
Yes.
Because it feels like so much is on the line. So much time is on the line, so much energy, insecurity. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
What are some ways, until you build this platform, what are some things you would advise people to do to experiment and to learn about themselves and to become more self-aware? What are some things that they could do now?
Ooh, okay. Well, here's a real life example. I thought about becoming a professional gamer. So maybe like regularly stream a strategy game like Twitch. So I thought about that. And then I did some research from other like streamers that has been there, done that, and they talk about their experiences, how would they treat the decisions, handle the decisions differently, and then one of the gentlemen said that I don't recommend people just start showing up and grind like 8 to 12 hours on Twitch and hope that people will come. Those days are over. So when I heard that, it's like, it's true. It's actually true. There are so many people who want to be like sitting there playing video games doing nothing and earn like millions of dollars. People who doesn't want to be the next ninja on Twitch, but it doesn't work that way. So it's good to know that. It's good to get real information like that so that I can make a more informed decision. So that's why I decided not to pursue that direction. Instead, I continue to do what's working for me, like the cameos, the new the Live platform, whatever. Like, I don't know how things will pan out, and that is okay. So that's another thing that I learned. It's like, it's okay to make peace with myself that I don't know if things will work out, but as long as I have that overall mission, I know where I want to go, I'll eventually get there.
Yeah, it's not being attached to the outcome and not looking for the certainty of what's going to happen. Keeping your values and your mission in your vision.
Right.
And then how you'll reach it, that will reveal itself in time as long as you have that front and center.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you think others can find that mission for themselves? Because I think what's hard is that a lot of us are living a life that is fine. There's nothing wrong with the way they're living their life, but there may be an aspect that doesn't feel fulfilling or that they're not aligned. How would you say what's a step someone could take to get closer to figuring that out for themselves?
Ooh, I would say that like it goes back to like asking like empowering questions, like what gets you excited every day? What do you enjoy doing? Like one of the questions one of my mentors asked me is like if money and resource is not an issue for you, what would you be doing instead? So asking questions like that can help you get the clarity that you need in your life.
Asking yourself questions and getting really quiet, I think, is also part of it, and not letting distractions or others tell you what they think you should do or what society tells you should do.
Yes.
Getting really clear with yourself.
Yeah. There is no magic answer, and what's interesting, Louis, is that the right path for me is probably not the right path for anybody else, and that's actually a good thing. I look at it as a good thing. So when you found your own unique path, oh, okay, wow, maybe nobody else can do this. I should be doing this. Hey, that's that. Maybe you found what you're looking for all along.
Yeah. You can't compare your path to anyone else's.
Yeah.
No. But I think overall, what you're doing is you're really adopting a mindset of play, which is what the podcast is about, which is
right.
about experimenting and trying different things and not being attached to what happens, and following your curiosity and what excites you, what interests you.
Right.
I think that is the best way to discover who you are and to become more self-aware and to learn about yourself. That's going to look different for everyone. What excites you is very different than what excites someone else.
Right. Yeah. And what's interesting, Louis, I'll go ahead and mention some few interesting aspects I learned from this Live It platform, because I only been on it for a week. That's how new I am. But that platform is interesting because it was based in Asia, Taiwan, and Japan. It happened 4 years ago, and then somehow this year it just started expanding into the United States. And the way that the mechanics, we talk about play and gaming a little bit, right? For this podcast, there's a lot of gaming element to that app that makes it work the way it does. The general idea is that when people like your content, they send you baby coins, and that's their form of currency. That's how you get paid. So it's more like you get paid over time, but it's not stable number.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not consistent every week or whatever.
Right. But what's interesting about that app, it's like an incentive system that's really fascinating, because what they do is they have events that will reward both the streamers like me as well as the fans. So the fans could earn really nice prizes to spend a lot of money on their app, and then for streamers they can get like $400 Amazon gift cards, for placing in the top 10. Yeah, so that's why that's why I want to mention those interesting aspects. That's what makes me engage as well and motivated.
Yeah, it's because there's this reward that correlates with your level of engagement that keeps you motivated.
Yeah.
There's some reward coming back to you, some sort of validation that's telling you that what you're doing is working for a certain group of people, for the right audience for you.
Exactly.
Is there any part of you that struggles with wanting to do something that is for others rather than for yourself? And how do you balance that? Because obviously trying to build an audience or trying to build a community, you have to think about your community, but you want to stay true to yourself, and you want to stay true to William. So how do you balance those two things that can sometimes be opposite?
I love this question because if money and resource is not an issue, I would just do nothing but sit down and play games all day long. I could see myself playing games like Teamfight Tactics, Clash of Clans, 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day, no problem.
Yeah.
But of course it's not healthy, and it's also not the way to create value for other people as well. So yeah, no, I think I could definitely see where you're coming from in terms of how I balance that. Is that that's why I'm still searching for interesting platforms where I could still do what I do, do what I enjoy a lot, which is speaking and motivating people. So that's why I'm searching for platforms or opportunities where I could like find the right balance between play and work.
Yeah, that's the key, right? To be able to bring value to others in a way that feels like play for you.
Yes.
Yep. And so it takes searching and it takes time to find out what that is. And I love that you're very open about that you are very much in the process of it. And that's great. There's no need to have it all figured out right now.
Yeah, and I'm always believe in being like very, very transparent and open book and authentic. So the Live It platform for what I know so far is definitely not a way to get rich. I'm gonna put this right out there right now, okay? So don't even think about it. It's like when because it's easy to fall into the trap of seeing like people on YouTube that's like getting like 10 million views. You see people on Live It like on the top number one leaderboard. What the heck? 6.5 million baby coins? How does he or she earn so much in such a short amount of time? Right?
Yeah.
Like when you're always comparing yourself to others, you're never gonna be happy. You have to come from a place of like realistically, okay, what can I do, and then what else can I do besides that? It's like for Live It, even for this new platform. Yeah, I mean, I would say that based on like my 1 week journey, getting like 200 followers, that's a success. That's something worth celebrating. Yeah. So like we have to look at it the right way. And then, okay, great. Now, where am I going next? What else can I do on top of that?
Yeah. Yes. And celebrate. Yes, I love that you said celebrate, because I think we're always looking for what we don't have, or being hard on ourselves, especially if we compare to others and how they're doing.
Right.
But stopping and celebrating.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you do? Because I mean, I'm going through this myself a little bit around keeping that energy up or staying resilient when all the things that you try, like let's say you try 10 things and half of the time only one of them works out.
Yep.
The math of that doesn't even make sense. Or
right. No, I get what
you know what I mean, right?
Of course.
And so for me, I know I'm in a very experimental phase of my life as well. It's like every day I have a number of things I'm trying or I'm producing content on. And there are days where I'm like, is any of this landing, or is any of this making sense? Is it speaking to anyone? And you're not sure if you should continue to focus on that thing if you're just not giving yourself enough time, or is it not working? And it's hard to know which one it is sometimes.
Ooh,
so, right?
Yeah.
So how do you have anything that you do to help yourself figure out what the next step is, or how do you stay resilient to just keep showing up and trying?
I love this as well, because I align with this, because I've been there myself many times in my life in terms of where I'm going, how I reinvent myself over the years. So I would say that give yourself at least 3 to 6 months, commit to one direction, and then see what happens. Instead of like 1 week, 1 month, this is not working, scratch it, go to the next. Give your like honest best effort, whatever that means to you, and then if that doesn't feel good or something is not quite right, then okay, well, try something else. Like the gaming, I thought about becoming the next big gamer on Twitch, but that's but realistically, I tried it. It doesn't feel great. I don't want to be glued to my phone or my computer screen all day either. So yeah.
Give yourself a real shot before you judge yourself too much.
Right.
That's so challenging. So challenging. But like anyone we know that has become successful, a lot of it was because it was over time, because there was so much work behind the scenes that got them there. And it's so hard to remember that, especially if you're comparing yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Maintaining that openness and staying playful in the midst of it all, that's the challenge.
Yeah.
What is the best way for people to either connect with you or to learn about how they can follow your journey?
Absolutely. So the best way is through my Instagram, She Bangs Guy.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that you've just embraced that part of your life. And you made it part of your brand, right? You've owned it.
Well, here's how I look at it. Like if I were to choose something else, I try other fun creative titles like Chief Champion Creator or Champion by Choice, right, from the name of my book. But sometimes like it doesn't quite work because you want people to understand what you do and who you are. So like I learned this from experience. It's much better for me to just say I'm a motivational speaker because people can picture what I do, and then I could elaborate on my experience when people want to connect with me. Same thing for She Bangs Guy. It's like people know what that looks like in their head, even though it's this funny, dorky guy on TV.
Yeah, it's giving them something recognizable up front.
Yeah.
So that their brains can grasp it. Give them something recognizable, like She Bangs Guy or motivational speaker, and then going from there. Well, I so appreciate your positive energy, and so awesome to hear about your story and where it's taken you so far. And I'm excited to see where you go from here. So many adventures ahead for William. I just know it.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do a few rapid fire questions. Quick things that sort of come to mind. Okay.
All right.
What did you want to be when you were growing up?
Ooh, when I was growing up, I thought about becoming a civil engineer.
And you studied it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You very much diverged from that path now. I love it.
Yes.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I want to inspire people to chase their dreams, to change their lives now instead of later.
Love it. Who are your play or creativity idols? People that you really look up to for the work that they do, or just a quality in them that you look up to?
Ooh, I would say a very interesting person that people might not have heard of. Her name is Marissa Murgatroyd. So she's and what makes her stand out is that she also loves talking about play. She's using like gaming to make the online courses more engaging. So that's actually her specialty. She helps other people make online courses more engaging so that they can finish those courses.
All right. So what kind of online courses?
I'm not sure, but just like most online courses, like she mentioned on one of the podcast interviews, how she helped the LinkedIn course, like how to use LinkedIn, made it much more interesting by like having like a rewards for people doing well in the course. Like gaming elements of the game.
Mm-hmm. People will rag on games, but there's a reason why they can pull your attention for such long periods of time.
Yes.
The way they're designed are there to engage you and to create that incentive to keep going. And if done the proper way, it can be very powerful.
Yes.
If you could say anything to your 10-year-old self, little William, what would it be?
I wish I didn't just listen to what other people told me that I have to be. Like my parents told me, like, you gotta be an engineer, lawyer, or doctor.
Thankfully, you didn't listen to them. What did your parents think of you deciding to embark on an entertainment career when you first auditioned for American Idol?
They were not happy about it, to say the least. Like that's why I actually did not tell my parents I was going to audition for American Idol. Because I thought that usually 99.999% of the time, nothing will ever happen. I just go back to school, be a normal student. After my mom found out, like a few days later, she was a bit upset and surprised at the same time. She called me and it's like, wait a minute, why did you, what did I see you do on TV? What's going on? And I had to explain to her, Mom, I just wanted to try something new in my life. It didn't work out, but hey, who knows what's going to happen now?
I can only imagine what she must have felt when she saw her son on TV auditioning to American Idol, and no one gave her any warning. She must have had a heart attack. Yeah. And so, but they over time, did they just accept that?
Right. Yeah.
They just accepted that you were going to go your own path and that you were going to be okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Do they still feel that same way since you've quit your job and now are embarking on an unconventional career again?
Yeah, they did. Like my dad didn't want to talk to me for a while. My mom wasn't thrilled about my decision. Like they, even though they said they want to support me, they're not. You know, they want, in their heart, they want me to just find a stable job. And I understand where they're coming from. You know, because my parents have like stable government jobs. And for them, that is the best thing they can do. You know, they enjoy it. They are happy that doing something meaningful for the society. And that's fine, you know. But just because it's right for them doesn't mean it's right for me or for future generations.
And that can be really hard because it's hard to go against the grain of what your parents are saying, no matter what. But it can be particularly hard for Asian people. And I understand that. Yeah, there's a really strong idea of what success is and in the Asian cultures for some people. So it's great that you decided to forge ahead no matter what. What does play mean to you?
Play means to combine like what you know and what you do for fun. And then create the life that you want out of that.
Love that. Awesome. Well, we can wrap it up with a little dance party to the best song ever, of course. It's such a good song. It never gets old.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
She walks like she talks, and she talks like she walks. She bangs. Oh, baby, when she moves. I go crazy cause she knows like a flower, but she stings like a bee. Like every girl in history. She bangs, I'm wasted by the way she moves. No one ever looks so fine. She reminds me that a woman's got one thing on her mind.
Yeah! Oh, so good. So appreciate you, William. Thank you for jumping on this conversation again. And
you're welcome.
Great to see you. I'm excited for what's next for you and to follow your journey. See what's next.
Yes. Let's stay in touch.
Are you looking for more play in your life? Make sure you're subscribed to the Recess Life podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the podcast platforms. You can also find the video interviews on YouTube. Don't forget to leave a review. Your feedback is so important to me and it helps others to find the podcast. You can also follow the conversation on Instagram at The Recess Life. And lastly, you can go to therecesslife.com where you'll find all the episodes and show notes on each of our guests. I hope this podcast helps you to become a little more playful today than you were yesterday. Until next time, don't forget to get out and play today.